Hey, you guys, it's MJ from Malta Love. How are you? I wanted to talk about evolution because I had this random moment of an insight of like, is it even real or is it just a human concept based on a linear perspective? Um, when we have a linear perspective, there's this perspective, or a desired anyway, perspective of a linearity that we grow and then we dissolve, we die, or devolve, you could say. And and the deeper I go into this new paradigm and expansiveness in as far as becoming the creator of your own reality, everything becomes questioned, even the idea of evolution, because even the idea of evolution is a story that we've been telling. And dare I say, a lot of us would probably agree that our historical context is based on a linear perspective. So, what happens to us when we expand our perspective? We evolve. Our mind changes, and therefore our behavior changes, and therefore, very, very, very likely, our DNA changes. Our genetic coding shifts as our mind perceives this reality in a different perspective or from a different perspective. So the idea of a spiraling and a wave function as our energetic basis, which means we're not going in a straight line. More accurately, we're going around in circles. And that actually rings true for the universe that we know we live in. Our planets are spherical beings, right? And um, planets orbit around the sun. So we are orbiting around our own central sun as unique creators. And you could say the sun is the light force of information. So the sun is ultimately the light force that reflects back to us our own creation. And then once we start operating from this more spherical or cyclical perspective, the illusion of linearity changes, which means it, it, it changes only in as far as we're not bound by it, we're not imprisoned by it. You know, we don't buy into I get to this point and then I die, or I get to this point and then I'm supposed to have it all figured out, or I get to this point and then I'm supposed to have X, Y, and Z lined up because that's what the linear perspective tells me I'm supposed to do. The shift in human consciousness is just more and more human minds awakening to their infinite potential. And infinite potential isn't special because all is infinite. Every being is infinite in essence, but uh, the unlimited being is in recognition of its choosing a perspective of limitation and linearity to rise above it, to see through it, right? And all of us have a multi-layered aspect of our creative force and potential, which is why when we awaken or we begin an awakening process, I would say again, many people agree, there's a sense of peeling back the layers of an onion, or having to go round and round in circles. And the circles are going round and round while you're looking at something. You're looking at your um, guilt. You're looking at your behavioral patterns around alcohol. You're looking at your relationship with your mother. It doesn't matter. It's just a theme or a challenge that one being can start to look at and outwork. That would be a conscious choosing to outwork certain densities, as I call them in the guidebook. And then each circle, each cycle allows us a potential review. which every time we come around to review a theme or life challenge as individuals, the review can offer us a shift in perspective, which then dictates a vibrational shift, an emotional shift, which then leads us down a slightly altered path. Adaptability, in essence, is evolution. Our ability to shapeshift our beingness in alignment with our higher mind, which is the mind in knowing it is one with all there is. It's a connective force field, which is why we can so easily get tripped up. And I notice that when I sometimes end up in YouTube rabbit holes, listening to people's stories. And because we're coming up into like, in some human communities, we're coming into disclosure, which means that across the human collective, more people are going to be having interstellar or intergalactic encounters and experiences. And I mean, the way I see it, they've been happening since the dawn of existence because we do live in an infinite universe. So, of course, there's like infinite other beings and creative potentials, and we can use our imagination and imagine what that might look like. Think of Star Wars, think of Star Trek. So that is a reality. And of course, there's likely to be timelines of humanity that bridge into that image, that myth, right? That image. So yeah, and it's really exciting. And then there'll be other timelines. So those of us who maybe align more with like Lord of the Rings and think of ourselves as elves or hobbits, there'll be some of us looking at ways to live in more harmony with the earth and with land and with community and other people. So there's this merging of advanced technology for comfort and luxury, and then sustainability. Sustainability is an aspect of self-regeneration. So as a part of our own creative potential, for us to attune to more of our eternal youth or our immortality as beings, again, if we expand out of a linear concept of creation, which means a birth and death cycle on this planet, if we awaken to it, we reclaim that cyclical nature of the birthing process on this planet. And so we will basically choose to just live however long you want, and then travel becomes telepathic travel between intergalactic stations. If that's, again, if that is a reality for you in your beingness for this lifetime and where we're going in this lifetime. And it's all contained within our expansive perspective. If we're just looking at life like this is and there, and then I go 1, 2, 3, and I hit these points, and then I go away, go to heaven and the pearly gates. So that's one way of perceiving. When, for whatever weird and wonderful reasons we awaken, that all sort of shatters itself. That our whole self-concept is shattered. And I mean, you could put it in that really kind of clear sense. Even conceptualization in as such is a limitation, right? Because the idea of our ability to conceptualize is actually us trying to fix something and make it real, make it true, which is great because this is what we do naturally. This is how we actually create, is to the only difference I guess I'm addressing is that we don't get fixated. And I've even become aware of my own material. I'm aware that there might be a point in my life where I let go of the process itself, where I let go of this. So what happens when I clear out all my karmic backlog and I'm like pure presence light active, right? Like pure presence manifestation active, then this material will become obsolete. And in a way, I hope it does, yo. I hope that this material does become obsolete, because that would mean that all humans are totally in their integrity, in their authenticity, totally fearless and self-aware, vibrating their broader aspect of love. Um, so yeah, we let go of the entire process just to live here now in a recognition of our cyclical nature, not us trying to squeeze our. So if we're multi-dimensional infinite beings and we try to squeeze ourselves into like a three-dimensional linear timeline, that's why for some of us, and increasingly so as beings, it's actually painful. So this is so far out of alignment from why we chose to be here at this time that it's increasingly painful. That's why suffering and pain ultimately is a great awakener, because it like stretches us so far to those depths that we have those aha moments, or those like just being on our knees surrender moments. Those are all very, spiritual experiences ultimately. So thanks for listening, you guys. I love you loads. Have an awesome day, and I'll speak to you real soon. Take care. Bye.